The first person who escaped managed isolation has pleaded guilty to failing to comply with an order under the COVID-19 Public Health Response Act. Suzanne Marie Derrett appeared in the Dunedin District Court this morning, where she admitted climbing over a brick wall and hedge and running away from the Pullman Hotel in Auckland on July the 4th, 7 days before her required isolation period ended. Our Otago-Southland reporter Timothy Brown was in court and has all the detail.
Suzanne Derrett arrived in Auckland from Brisbane on June the 27th and was taken to the Pullman Hotel. She was told she would remain there for a fortnight, but a week later she fled the hotel's courtyard and ran away. A summary of facts presented in court today says on the evening of July the 4th, she displayed signs of emotional distress. She was yelling and talking to herself. After re-entering the hotel and then going back to the courtyard, she yelled at staff through the glass window before facing the northwest corner of the courtyard and a few minutes later jumped over the brick wall and ran away. Less than 2 hours later, she approached police officers in Anzac Avenue, a few hundred metres away from the hotel in Auckland CBD, and was arrested.
Do we know how difficult it was for her to get out, how high the fences were?
The fence was approximately 5 foot tall, and on the other side of the brick wall was a hedge of a similar height. So it was a matter of climbing up and over them and then just making her way through the hedge.
So, now that we've got to this point, what is the possible punishment? You know, what's she likely facing in terms of a sentence?
Well, under the COVID-19 Public Health Response Act, she can potentially be jailed for up to 6 months or be fined $4,000. However, those extremes are very unlikely, and at today's hearing, the police acknowledged, due to her lack of prior offending, she may be eligible for diversion. Another hearing is set down for this time next week, where she'll be sentenced if diversion isn't appropriate. Of course, that still leaves open the possibility to the judge of a discharge without conviction, or even a conviction and discharge.
So, has she given any explanation at all for the offending?
In a word, no. Immediately after her arrest, she offered no explanation for leaving the managed isolation facility to police officers. And today, as she left court, with a hood over her head and her face partially covered, she made no comment to the gathered media outside the Dunedin District Court. However, her lawyer has only recently taken on the case, but I imagine if she comes before the court again next week, we'll learn more about her motives then.
You mentioned that in the circumstances leading up to her escape, that she, while appeared distressed, was talking to herself. Do we know what led to that distress?
No, there's been no discussion of what led to her being in that state or what the mental health concerns were before that. They just know that on the evening of her escape, approximately 30 minutes before she climbed the wall and fled, she started to show signs of distress in the outside courtyard, which was reserved for recreation, as they describe it, but it was a smoking area.